Yo, what is going on, guys? J.Yumeko here, and today we are back with some Angel Wings Endless Night. So, last time we left off, we got a little bit more insight into how this curse works, kinda, sorta. We know that its power, I guess that if you're in it first, maybe if you're in it in general, you can harness some kind of power via the curse. So we came across one of the girls that's trapped in here, and she seemed to have the power to kind of like shoot these chains out of a void, right? Like she could just snap her fingers and chains would appear out of nowhere, and she can kind of use those as weapons and restraints, stuff like that. So, oh, and then we also realized that another one of the friends that we saved, I think she had the power to like make food reappear or something like that. Something along those lines. So there's powers that we gain by being here that we may or may not end up being able to kind of harness. So that's kind of the biggest thing that happened. So let's just jump right on back into it, right? Let's see here. This is our newest one, I think. Yes, it is. Okay. Well, why not try it ourselves? Because why? Lilith clutches the amaranth tightly, hands trembling with anxiety. Because this curse, this nightmare, it's taken so much from me already. I can't imagine willingly using its powers. It feels like I'm giving in. And I'm not going to do that. Not when I've spent all this time trying to get out of here and save everyone. Elise sighs, placing her hand on Lilith's shoulder. Surprised by Elise's touch, Lilith's hand stopped trembling. Well, let's not dally. We still have more to accomplish here. I feel like I'm going to be hungry again in an hour. Me too, dear. Me too. So, Elise, anything you want to talk about? Okay, let's see here. We had this prompt before, and I believe we asked about the friends. So, let's ask about the curse. Tell me about the curse. The curse? I know about as much as you do. Well, you were here when it first began, were you not? Yeah, I guess I was. Spare me the details I've heard before. I just want to know your personal experience. I really don't know. We just couldn't sleep. Every night I'd have this same nightmare. About your biggest fear? Yeah. Which is... Lilith shifts uncomfortably, holding her hands together. Being chased? That's not a real phobia. It is! What do you call it? I don't know. Chaseophobia? I'm not a word scientist. A linguist. Yeah, that. What other fears do your friends have? I don't really remember all of them, but I know Emmy hates bugs. Explains the roaches. Actually, wait, there were locusts, weren't they? Luna's claustrophobic. Cass is afraid of heights. The curse truly does know everything, doesn't it? What's your fear, Elise? Can't the curse hear us? I don't know. That's a good question. I shouldn't tell you then, should I? Aww. Just being prudent, dear. Surely you understand. But I told you. If you'd like, you can believe my greatest fear is being poor. I feel like if it were anything else, I'd think you were lying. The curse. Do you believe what Luna said about it? A curse that learns and adapts based on our actions. Splendid, isn't it? It's kind of scary. I'd say this curse is more intelligent than most of the living things we've met here tonight. Probably. Hey, wait! Those are my friends! I'm just saying, dear. I hope Luna's doing alright. She seemed far more equipped to handle the curse than either of us. But the curse is... it's using her. She appeared to be in control of it.
I've seen what this curse does to people, Elise. It brings out the worst in them. Back when it first started, I felt like it was driving me crazy or something. Playing with the curse like that, it seems dangerous.
Well, we just have to hope we can convince her to help us rather than kill us.
Yeah.
Lilith stares at the amaranth, 2 of its pieces now connected.
We just have to keep moving forward. The amaranth, it'll fix everything.
So at this point we've accounted for all your friends, correct? 3 in these wings, yourself, Amelia, and Luna, was it? Elise counts on her fingers, furrowing her brow as she struggles to remember the names of the myriad new faces she met tonight. That makes 6. Oh, right. Alice. Where's she?
She should be upstairs. I forgot to ask Luna about her.
How did we end up here? Lost in conversation, Elise and Lilith hadn't even realized they walked through the wrong door.
The art studio. I didn't realize we could even get in here. None of our friends are in here, as far as I know.
A single easel rests in the middle of the barren marble floor, covered by a dusty burlap cloth. Paintings hang from the heights on the wall, covering the sickly green wallpaper that is yellowed with age. A shelf of porcelain dolls lines the far wall, each pristine in their preservation despite the cobwebs surrounding them. Those dolls are incredibly creepy.
I didn't used to think they were, but now?
Elise walks around the room, running a finger along one of the paintings. She shakes the dust off her hand. Some of these paintings are still hanging in our studio as well. Were there any painters among your flock of friends? Lilith walks over to the easel, each of her steps kicking up a small cloud of dust on the way.
One of us was.
Her hand floats over the burlap cloth, hesitating for a moment before throwing it off. Sneeze. Dear goodness, your flair for the dramatic is coming at the cost of my health. Do you know how much dust is in here? Who's this?
It's Alice.
Ah, so this is the last of your friends.
Yep.
I thought you all were only here for vacation. When did she find the time to paint?
We were on the last few days of our trip. We were gonna leave the next morning before this happened. Alice only painted when she was upset, actually. Said something about negative emotions inspiring her.
Ah, one of those kinds of artists. The ones my age are usually drunks or addicted to substances by now. So tell me, dear, if I'm not prying...
Nothing. It's nothing.
Come now, dear, I'm not one for gossip, but I feel like this is crucial information. Maybe this is the key to something. Lilith walks over to the shelf of the porcelain dolls.
I dunno. I honestly don't remember anymore.
Sensing the sincere regret in Lilith's voice, Elise decides against pushing the subject. Lilith picks up one of the dolls, gently blowing the dust off while straightening its bow.
She really loved these dolls. For some reason, she insisted on bringing them with us. A whole suitcase filled with dolls and some paint. Silly, isn't it?
She sniffles.
She even had a favorite, I think. This one.
Lilith reaches towards the shelf, her hand stopping in midair.
There's one missing.
She frantically turns her head, looking around the room for the lost doll.
It's not here, is it? It should be here.
Urgency rising in her voice, she walks toward the painting in the middle of the room.
It's coming back to me now. This painting. It wasn't finished back then.
The painting suddenly begins to warp and bleed, Alice's visage becoming sick and twisted as dark liquid oozes from the subject's orifices. The other pictures around the room also begin to contort and convulse, the subjects within becoming ghastly versions of their former selves as the familiar screeching of the curse continues. For the love of God, if the dolls come to life, I'm so finished with this place.
I think we should run.
Good thinking. The two rush to the exit, Elise attempting to turn the door handle.
Locked? Not this again.
Elise turns to see the nightmare Lilith standing before her, seemingly having materialized from thin air.
Good lord, that thing gets uglier every time I see it. No offense, Lilith. Elise, this is not the time.
Elise and Lilith put their backs to the wall as the nightmare Lilith encroaches upon them, shambling slowly as black blood drips from the wound that Luna left upon it.
Weapons? Do we have anything we can use as a weapon? I knew I should have picked up that metal rod. I'll find something. Distracted.
Lilith dashes away from the imposter, running towards the supplies on the far side of the room.
Distracted? As if it's gonna fall from my charms twice.
Elise runs in the opposite direction of Lilith, circling back towards the center of the room as the nightmare Lilith is unsure of which to pursue.
Lilith dear, have you found anything yet? No, unless you think a paintbrush will kill it. Keep looking, darling.
Shuffling its feet, the nightmare Lilith appears to be moving quicker than before, as if it were emulating Lilith's movements. It charges towards Elise.
Is this thing learning how to run?
In a moment of desperation, Elise grabs the canvas of Alice, still grossly disfigured beyond recognition.
She wouldn't want to see it like this anyway, would she?
Elise smacks the nightmare Lilith in the face with the canvas, causing its head to cock back as it grabs Elise with its grasp.
Elise!
Oh, jeez. Elise! Elise struggles to speak as she flails her legs, unable to escape the imposter's grip.
What can I do?
A pool of blood begins to develop underneath the monster, bubbling as if something is underneath its surface. Dozens of decaying hands erupt from the pool of blood, grabbing onto the imposter and causing it to drop Elise. Oh, maybe this is her power manifesting.
What the?
Elise crawls backwards, still clutching her neck as the rotting hands aggressively drag the nightmare Lilith into the pool, ripping and tearing its flesh as it sinks below the surface. As quickly as it emerged, the blood pool shrinks and disappears, leaving no trace of the nightmare Lilith behind.
That was horrifying. That was, needlessly awful. I don't even know what happened. I don't know what happened either, but I never want to talk about it again. Yes, I agree. Let's just go.
New outfit unlocked. Let's go.
So, Elise, where should we go?
Well, there's only one place to go. The garden. Cassia always liked the flowers in the garden. So we're just missing the crown, so this theoretically should be the last place we need to look to complete the amaranth.
The garden sounds lovely. I could use some fresh air. Yeah, I think sitting in that cellar for so long would have made me sick if I weren't sort of immortal. Immortal, you say? Perfect makeup, eternal hair dye, and immortality. Read me that part of the book about controlling the curse again. No!
Literally just perfectly preserved. Normally awash with sunlight and filled with imported roses, Elise's flower garden now emanates a pale indigo blue under the eternal moonlight. The pair walk into the open courtyard, Elise picking at the leaves and examining the exotic shrubbery that has emerged in this new world.
Fascinating. My white English roses are now fluorescent blue. Can we bring these back to our world whenever we manage to escape? I don't think... Oh, they are kind of pretty.
The two examine the glowing herb life before hearing a woman's voice muttering from across the garden.
40 millimeters of special water, temperatures below 25 degrees Celsius, mulch mixture. Who is it? I don't know.
Elise covers Lilith's mouth, pulling her behind a nearby bush.
Shh! We don't know what kind of foul creature we're going to encounter in this area. Perhaps another nightmarish apparition.
Elise clasps the bell hanging from Lilith's arm.
Don't make any more noise than we need to.
Lilith nods her head in agreement as they creep around the bushes, careful not to make a sound. As they moved towards the other side of the garden, they drew closer to the unknown voice, still reciting complex directions.
Is this the right flask? Oh, of course it is. Elise! Good lord, that was the loudest whisper I've ever heard in my life. I know who it is. Your friend?
Lilith nods vigorously.
Wait, where are you going?
Lilith crawls through a nearby bush, causing a loud rustling that goes unnoticed by the stranger on the other side. Elise slaps her forehead in disbelief as she maintains her position in hiding.
Alright, that's one down. Just 1,700 more to go.
Lilith leaps through the bush and tackles the girl to the ground, causing her to scream as if being mauled by a wild tiger.
Cassia, my baby! Did you miss me? Ah! Get off of me! I'm not your baby! Did you miss me? No! No, I didn't!
She manages to push Lilith off her before sitting up. Cassia rubs her head, a look of indignant frustration on her face.
What are you doing here? You just ruined my garden. I'm surprising you. Aren't you happy to see me? Ugh, do you know how long it took me to grow these? Years. I brought a friend with me. At least you can come out now. Why are you talking about your friend? I'm talking about the bushes. Oh god, why is she crawling through? She's making it worse. Just go around. You guys are the worst. Nuri, I knew you around here somewhere. Good heavens, I was worried about you.
Elise attempts to hang her arms around the gardener's shoulders as she would with Nuri. In a surprising turn, this girl immediately evades her embrace, shoving Elise away.
Who's Nuri? Don't touch me. Nuri? How could you? Nuri? Is that the name of the friend you lost? Well, one of them. She looks a lot like your friend here, actually.
It's Cassia, not Nuri. Lilith squeezes Cassia's cheeks like a doting grandmother.
Isn't little Cass the cutest? Stop that!
She slaps Lilith's hands away.
I used to pinch Nuri's cheeks as well.
Elise sighs, gazing wistfully into the distance as Lilith continues to harass Cassia.
Still so cute, even after all these years. Stop it! If you're gonna do something, help me fix the bushes you just wrecked.
She pouts as she slaps Lilith's hand away once more.
You're supposed to respect your elders, you know.
Ignoring her senior's grievances, Cassia kneels down and collects the twigs and branches that were snapped off in Lilith's grand entrance, sweeping them into a small dustpan.
I haven't seen you in so long, and the first thing you do is ruin my roses. Relax, Cass, they're just a few flowers. You have like 100 more. Yes, Cassia, dear. Tell us, why do you grow so many of these peculiar blue roses?
Cassia looks up in surprise for a moment, as if it's the first time she's ever been asked.
I don't know. It's something to do, I guess.
She resumes sweeping.
I guess they just remind me of Alice. She really loved them. How wholesome. But the flowers, their glow is so interesting. What causes it?
Cassia stands, emptying the plant remains into a large wooden bucket.
Your guess is as good as mine. But she grew so many of them. I don't know, maybe I just want to be like an old lady who found peace in yard work or something. Why so many questions? I had plans for life that didn't include being an internal gardener. Oh, Cass! We met Emmy too!
Cassia grumbles at the abrupt change of subject, clearly long accustomed to Lilith's abundant energy.
How'd you get in here anyway? Can't we just leave yet? Well, not quite. So you came in here to harass me instead? Nothing ever changes around here, does it? My, this world's Nuri's far more petulant a child than ours. It's not my name. Oh, Cass is just our little baby. We love her. I'm not your baby. I have real parents. I missed them.
Cassia wails in rebellious anguish as she clips the damaged branches off the bush.
You all sure love screaming, that much is certain. Well, anyway, Lilith, now that we're here, we should focus on our goal, correct? Oh, yeah! Cassia, let's get you out of here. How are you gonna do that? Elise, I assume the door's locked?
Elise skips over to the door they entered through, hand nearing the doorknob as it glows red like a warning light.
I'm going to say yes. I don't think we can try the human sacrifice method again. You guys did what? Nothing. Where's Emmy? Did you guys... No, dear. Nothing happened. It's fine. She's fine. Did you come here to sacrifice me too? Maybe gardening for eternity isn't so bad after all. No, we needed a way to activate the curse is all. Activate it? Hasn't it been active for like a long time already? I was supposed to go to college. Do you know how shitty it is to go back and realize you're thrice as old as everyone else in your class? I mean, no, I wouldn't know what that's like. Neither do I, but I bet it's pretty shitty. Oh, silly. You don't need to go to school to be happy. Yeah, you're right. At this point, I have 40 years of experience to put on my resume. My, all these years certainly left you with some pent-up stress. Right? Come on, Cass, it's gonna be okay.
Cassia groans as Lilith rubs her head, eventually relenting and leaning on Lilith's shoulder.
Anyway, your dear friend, Amelia? Yes, Amelia. Helped us figure out that the curse seems to tire out, so to speak, after heavy exertion. We were able to waltz out of the library once it spent out its energy trying to murder us, and if we found a piece of the amaranth, we can send you home. So your plan is to try to get the house to kill us so we can maybe not die? Well, when you put it that way, it sounds much worse, dear. It sounds good to me.
Cassia buries her head in her hands and screams.
Well, if we're going to summon the curse, we're going to need to think of a plan. Well, what should we do?
I never agreed to this. Elise gazes around the enclosed courtyard for clues. Aside from the bushels of strange blue flowers, the only other items in the courtyard are a chair and some gardening tools atop a table. Let's examine the gardening tools. Some weapons, potentially.
Cassia, what is this you're using to tend the flowers?
Oh, the mulch? It's pretty standard stuff.
The only thing I do differently with these flowers is keep them at a cool temperature. There's this weird thing. And why's that? They don't survive well in the warm weather, and that's all. Anyway, the weird thing, what would happen if we turned up the heat? Well, you'd probably kill them, and then I'd get really mad.
Okay, what the fuck is this weird thing, though, that she keeps mentioning over and over again? Do nothing.
Fine. I suppose I won't.
Elise gazes around the enclosed courtyard for clues, aside from the bushes. Okay, yeah. Examine the flowers.
How do the flowers get such an exquisite glow?
Cassia sighs. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know anything differently than I would normally with roses. I do have this weird thing. She waits for Elise to interrupt her again. This weird thing that gets rid of the trash and stuff, though. She reaches into the wooden bucket from earlier, fishing out what looks to be a black stone crown the size of her forearm.
What is it?
I don't know. I just know that if I throw stuff in the bucket with it, eventually it disappears.
Look.
She shows Elise and Lilith the inside of the bucket, where she dumped the twigs and roses earlier, now completely empty.
Come to think of it, could this be part of the stuff we're looking for? Oh yeah, the amaranth. Maybe it teleports the trash out of here? That makes sense, doesn't it?
Sure, I suppose that makes sense.
Does that mean there's like some part of the world that just gets roses and other trash dumped into it out of the sky? Like right into someone's front yard?
Elise's face fills with concern as she deeply ponders this possibility.
Anyway, Cass, we're gonna need that.
Cassia pulls her hand back, clutching the black crown as Lilith reached for it.
What staff? Why? What aren't you telling me here? We learned about an anti-curse staff in Emmy's book that could help us get out of here. I think you have one of the pieces.
Cassia squints with all the skepticism of someone who's been stopped by a snake oil vendor.
So, you want me to give you this thing I use every day, because maybe it'll help you in some way and only if you find a bunch of other parts of it. Yep. I hate you guys. Okay, you've spent enough time ruining my life. Now what?
Human sacrifice, burn the flowers, and pick the flowers. I really don't know what the angle is here. I'm pretty sure we've gone the human sacrifice route, like, literally every other time that we've done this. Um, we're gonna avoid that for now. So we can burn the flowers or we can pick the flowers. I don't even know if we would have anything to burn it to begin with. So I'm gonna opt for just picking the flowers.
Cassia, dear, I'm gonna do something you might not like.
You mean more things I don't like?
Well, yes.
Elise prances around the garden, unrooting each and every blue rose in sight, plucking them off the stems and carefully cradling them in her arms. Cassia screams upon seeing her months of work unraveled by the stranger before her.
What are you doing?
I have an idea.
There were a lot of roses here. 1,757 roses, minus the few that you already killed. Well, these roses seem to have interesting properties. I figured gathering them would be a start for us.
What are you going to do with them now? I spent forever on those. Lilith picks one of the roses out of the pile and scurries over to the locked door.
Lilith, what are you doing? Experimenting.
Winding up like a baseball pitcher, she tosses the rose to the door and ducks for cover as if participating in a tornado drill. She sneaks closer to the door, shielding her face with one hand while reaching out with the other to poke at the door handle. She pokes at it again and again. She places her hand on the handle with no ill effect.
Guys, the door isn't burning hot anymore.
She turns the doorknob.
Look, we can leave now.
Splendid. These flowers seem to have some sort of anti-curse properties.
I've been here for this long, I never even tried that. Well, they don't seem to have much of a shelf life, but if we can use them even for a few of these, we could get out of some major trouble, couldn't we? Wait, what if these things stop the curse? Do you think it was a bad idea to pluck them all?
Like, you mean maybe the roses were keeping the curse away from the garden?
Well, that sounds like a problem for later.
Let's leave. Elise hops to her feet and begins to skip over to the doorway.
Wait, do you guys hear that?
That sound can only mean... Massive gnarled roots burst from the ground all over the garden, uprooting the cobblestone foundation of the courtyard.
What's happening?
One by one, more roots begin to erupt, attempting to entangle Elise and Cassia in their grasp.
To the door!
Elise and Cassia sprint towards the doorway, Lilith shielding herself from the probing roots just out of reach. Elise reaches the door, grabbing the doorknob and turning it without ill effect.
Alright, let's go!
Cassia shrieks in horror as one of the massive roots grabs her by the ankle as she trips and falls, the black crown of the amaranth falling from her hand and landing at Elise's feet.
Cass! Just go! Forget about me! We can't leave her!
The roots tighten their grip around Cassia, dragging her inward as she screams in horror. Elise fiends off another pair of creeping roots, attempting to grab her as well.
What can we do? Something. Anything.
Lilith grits her teeth, sprinting forward.
Lilith!
Dancing out of the way of the myriad vines attempting to grab her, she comes within an arm's length of Cassia. She reaches out, attempting to grab her hand.
Cass! Take my hand!
Cassia reaches for Lilith's hand, stretching with all her might as their fingers touch. The stone path suddenly collapses, a gaping chasm opening beneath as the vast majority of the blue roses fall within the tumbling stone foundation. A stray vine catches Lilith in its grasp, preventing her from falling into the maw below.
The roses!
Entirely devoid of light, the endless ravine emits a horrifying screaming sound as the roots holding Cassia and Lilith swing downward, dangling them on opposite sides of above the pit.
Why did it have to be the heights? Anything but heights! What about clowns? Lilith!
What do I do? Elise charges forward, barely evading the roots attacking her as she manages to grab a small handful of the remaining blue roses.
Elise, what are you doing?
Learning from you, darling. Elise hurls a blue rose at the nearby root, causing it to explode upon impact as it retreats into the darkness below.
How striking. Hand me one.
Elise lobs a rose toward Lilith, accidentally hitting the vine holding her as it bursts, tossing Lilith into the air as it reels in pain.
Whoa!
Lilith falls onto the stone floor as Elise fends off the other roots with her diminishing rose supply, causing them to wither and recede. Elise whips her pendulum rose out of at the roots holding Cassia, causing their grips to falter for just a moment.
It's not letting go.
The mangled roots continue to dangle Cassia above the eternal chasm, weakened but still holding on. Elise winds up to throw the final rose.
Wait! Why? If we throw it, the vines might drop her. What else can we do? I don't know. There has to be another way.
I think... I don't know. I feel like this is one of those things where it's like, if we throw it, it's just going to straight up drop her. Alright, there has to be another way. We're not going to throw it. What we're going to save first. We save. Okay, resume. We're not going to throw it. Elise clutches the rose tightly, its thorns drawing blood from her pale white fingers.
We have to do something. Please, just wait. There has to be something we can do. Look around you. What can we possibly do here?
The entangling roots continue to lash at Elise and Lilith as they back towards the door.
We can't risk losing Cass. But...
A deep rumbling shakes the earth beneath Elise and Lilith's feet, causing the roots to shake and stir as some retreat into the shadows.
What's going on?
Oh. What's happening? A blue flame erupts from the pit like a backdraft flame, incinerating the roots and throwing Cassie into the air with its impact.
Cass!
She screams as she careens through the air, landing mere inches away from the gaping chasm as she falls onto Lilith with a loud thud.
Are we all alive? Everyone's still intact. I never want to hang out with you guys again. You're fine now. It's okay.
She picks up the dark crown off the remains of the stone floor.
Plus, we're one step closer to making this amaranth thing. Tell me how we managed to somehow survive this one. If a single flower could hurt those things, imagine what a few thousand could do. Like when you eat too much pizza in one sitting. The Haruka special. Oh, I'm sure she'd kill you if she heard that.
She pinches Cassia's cheeks once more.
Stop that! I want to go home. Oh, the spell! Right. And now that the curse has been exhausted and we have a piece of the amaranth, we should be able to cast our spell.
Lilith holds the crown in one hand, Emmy's notebook in the other.
Okay, Cass. Stand still. I'm gonna get you out of here. Wait, what about you? I want to come with you. I'll be back soon. I just need to take care of some things. But I'll save everyone else too. You'll see. Wait for me at home, okay?
Lilith pulls out Amelia's notebook, flipping to the transport spell and speaking in tongues once again.
Wait, what kind of spell is that? You're not going to turn me into a frog or something, right? Relax, Emmy. Relax. Emmy approved it. Now hold on, I'll send you back.
Cassia pouts, crossing her arms as the blue glow begins to envelop her body.
But I don't wanna. Be a good girl now.
After a blinding flash, she disappears just as Amelia did. The crown of the amaranth falls to the ground, its dark ash color remaining gray as its power fades.
That's one more saved. Not bad, huh?
Yes. Now to tend to the rest of your numerous herd.
These roses, they're really something, aren't they?
Indeed. Whatever they are, there must be some link to stopping the curse, or at least disabling it for a bit.
You still have one, don't you?
Elise holds the last blue rose. Mystified by its blue glow, the petals seem to open towards her as its aura intensifies. Excuse me.
You should keep it. I think it likes you.
I suppose so. Well, what the fuck was the blue flash? Like, what was the random blue flash that just happened to save us? Alright, we're back to talking. Tell me about the blue roses.
Those blue roses, what do you think about them? They were pretty. Yes, other than that, Lilith. They were cool. Magic roses sound awesome. What do you wager created them? That's a good question. Nothing else in this house is like them, huh? the power of the moon, perhaps the other planets as well. You are all schoolgirls, right? I don't suppose any of you can transform, can you? Transforming schoolgirls? Is this another reference that didn't exist in my time? Yes, probably. In any case, they seem like they could have helped us. I wish we could have grabbed a handful or something before they fell. Hopefully one is enough. Do you think they're cursed? I don't think so. How can you be so sure? I don't know. Those roses, something about them was different. If they were cursed, it must have been a different curse entirely. The curse feels cold, uncomfortable, like it's trying to squeeze me to death or something. The roses, they felt warm. You're not just saying them because I thought about burning them, right? You what? Nothing. I hope you don't need to see the other me again. The curse appears to have grown quite fond of your visage. I wonder why. It's creepy, isn't it? It almost fooled you earlier, too. Don't remind me. However, I don't believe I'll be tricked again. Why's that? Well, first of all, the imposter clearly has black hair. I'm not sure how I ever mistook you two in the first place. Her eyes are scary, too. I'm a little fond of them, if I can be honest. Elise! Only one wing left, correct? Lilith pulls out her makeshift map. Yup, then we can focus on finding Luna. What about the Amaranth? Well, I want that too, but if my friends are safe, I'll at least be happy. Even if it means your friends are stuck here forever. Of course! What drives you to such madness, darling? Lilith pauses to ponder Elise's question. What do you mean? Why such a fuss about that Luna? If we complete the staff, I say we escape as soon as we can. Well, we already have completed the staff as a thing. Like, we've collected all of the stuff. You know, it's kind of interesting because it feels like Cassia's whole scene was almost specifically made to happen right after Emmys. Like, you were supposed to go from Amelia to Cassia. That's kind of what it feels like. Because I know she'd do the same for me. Lilith slows her pace, eventually stopping in her tracks as she clutches her tattered map. Elise, what's wrong, darling? Do you think we can really do this? Do what? Save everyone. We were barely surviving before, and now it's even harder, isn't it? I'm not that smart. Eventually the curse is gonna figure out a way to stop us, right? Elise raises an eyebrow as Lilith stares at the ground, kicking some loose debris off the carpet. Well, I have a good feeling. Let's just say that. And we'll go home with everyone else too. You think so? I know so. Lilith's smile returns as she hops forward, catching up with Elise as they continue down the long mansion hallway. Slowing her pace, Elise looks to her right and snatches an ornate golden spoon from a nearby display case. I have a feeling I might need this later. She blows the dust off before placing it in her hidden skirt pocket. Oh hey, there's a spoon right there. Look, dear, let me hold Amelia's notebook for just a moment. The notebook? Sure. Wait a minute, are you just gonna cast a spell on yourself and go home? What? Me? Of course not. Just let me hold it for a bit. Elise, no! We still have to save all our friends! There's still the whole second floor we haven't even touched yet. Fine. So, just out of curiosity, why can't we go upstairs? Luna locked the upstairs. You saw it. Elise points at the twin staircase, neither of which appears to be sealed by Luna's dark chains. Shall we take a look? We'll go slowly. But we don't have all the pieces of the amaranth yet. Perhaps we'll find them upstairs. It's worth a try at least, don't you think? I guess. You first. Elise stares up the curved stairwell leading to the second floor, squinting her eyes for any glimpse of an obstacle or dangerous trap. She takes one step, then another. Another after that. I think we're safe, dear. Are you sure?
Lilith gingerly puts her foot on the first step, as if dipping her toe into a pool of icy water.
We're fine, see? Yeah, I guess you're right.
Lilith hops up the stairs, matching Elise's position.
Well, shall we continue?
The two continue up the creaky wooden steps, the velvet carpeting torn and weathered from years of neglect. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and stop it there. Kind of, a little bit of a shorter episode today. I think we were only about 40-ish minutes, something like that. But I do feel like this is a pretty decent stopping point. Let's see. Oh, I don't want to exit the game. Okay. So, some interesting, well, kind of, I don't know. Let me say this, right? I guess just everything that's kind of going on right now feels kind of like weird, I guess, because I'm pretty sure we have all the pieces of the Amaranth. And all the people that's left to find are, I believe, going to be Luna and Alice, and or Alice, whatever her name is, and like that's the last two people that we need to find / convince to go home. So, I mean, I think they mentioned that the Nightmare Lilith has a piece of the Amaranth like in her chest or something. I think. So I'm not sure if like this next, if going to the second floor is gonna kind of be like a new level kind of thing. And then on top of that, we still have heard absolutely nothing from like Nuri or us, of Yumeko, right? He's just been like attacked, I guess. So, and then also Elise's brother as well. So my biggest question right now is, are those two dead or are they alive? Because that'd kind of be the weirdest fucking thing. If like, okay, here's this dude, right? And we're going back to the first game here. Here's this dude who randomly, inexplicably finds himself in this completely new world, right? Where he's, living with this like woman he's never met in his life, and going to school and yada yada yada. And he goes through all the, he meets all these other girls, does all these romance paths, everything like that, and then just his demise is that he goes to a mansion that's cursed, gets pulled to yet another world, and then gets killed there. That would be one hell of a fucking story. So, assuming all of this stuff is in universe to the first game, it's kind of fucking crazy. But that's going to be it for this time. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like on the video and tell me in the comment section below what you'd like to see me play next. If you enjoyed this video or any of the videos or series on my channel, then I highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you'll be notified when a new one of these videos comes out. Anyways, this is it from me, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!